Okay. Hello.
Hey, babe. You have really pretty eyes.
You might be hearing a little person in the background,
Should we start the podcast?
and it's not a ghost.
No,
It's not.
a little person.
Yep.
So we have kids and they live with us and
Well,
we're parents. And
yeah.
we're trying to do this podcast at like
Exactly.
fast time. Okay. So
Let's start it.
hi, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Dennis.
And this is the Violet Hour podcast. A podcast about
A podcast about what inspires wonder from the mysterious to the mundane.
to the mundane. Okay. So it's been like
About a month now.
almost a month because we've had a crazy February was crazy. But we got through it, and so now we're ready to like start this show. So what are you talking about today? Like, okay, now I guess my question to you is, I think I already know this answer, but like, if you got stranded on a desert island, but this desert island was a nightmare, what would it look like?
Well, I wouldn't want to get stranded in a nightmare desert island.
I know you wouldn't, but just humor me. Like my nightmare desert island would be like all sun, no sunscreen, no shade, and no books. What would yours look like?
I mean, that's technically the sun.
Going to the beach.
Creepy dolls.
Creepy dolls.
An island with creepy dolls, or a place that has like very strange things at night. You hear like you always hear people say, "Oh, Mother Nature's so beautiful. The sound of Mother Nature's so great." But when you find yourself in the dark, in the wilderness at night, you hear all the creepy crawlers. You hear everything in the middle of the night. So Mother Nature's not as beautiful when you're outside in the wilderness. But as long as you're confined to
That's
your
good.
home,
That's why I like glamping.
glamping.
Okay, so talk to me about this Nightmare Island. What's it called? I'm pretty sure it already exists for
So
you.
today,
Never
well,
gonna go there on vacation.
it's not exist to me, but I actually, honestly, I would love to go see this place.
Would you really?
Yes,
Oh my God,
yes, I
no
would
way.
love to go see this place. Now, I'm not willing to be spending the night there, but um, I think I would love to see this place. It's got an interesting it's an interesting story, very unique.
Okay, so what's it called?
So the name of the island is Isla de las Muñecas, the islands of the dolls. So this island is located about 28 kilometers, which is around 17.4 miles, just south of Mexico City, in between Xochimilco canals. So you can find a small mysterious island with it, and it has a very sad story and a sad background related to it. This island, it was not intended to become like what it is now, like this tourist destination. It's really sad, but it's known as, like I said earlier, it's known as La Isla de las Muñecas, the islands of the dolls. Um, the island is dedicated to the lost soul of a poor girl who was found drowned by this guy. His name is Don Julian Santana Barrera. Um, he left his family like in the 20th century or so. So what he did was he left his family. He went to this island. He found this little girl,
Okay, why did
and
he leave his family?
he
Like,
just abandoned his family and left
what a jerk.
and stayed in this island. I think he had mental. I think he suffered. He might have suffered some sort of mental illness or something,
Okay.
because they never found the body of this little girl. It was just him saying that it was a little girl who washed up, at the island, and then right behind her, a doll followed her, like the little
So like
girl's
maybe he was
doll.
like schizophrenic.
I mean, he could
Maybe
have,
I don't know. I'm just
he could have
imagining.
been, but
Wow.
so he spent pretty much his entire livelihood there. But it's sad. But this guy, Don Julian Santana Barrera, he created this entire island, um, from dolls that was given to him for tourists and guests and people that showed up to the island. Or he will, when he go out to the market, he will find them in the dumpsters and in the streets. And what he will do is he will bring them back to the island, and he would just hang them on the trees. It didn't matter what the dolls looked like. He would just put them up on the trees. So some of these dolls were missing heads, missing arms, missing eyes, missing limbs.
So like it's like a Lost Boys Island,
Oh, I
but
don't know.
like dolls, like
Well,
lost dolls. Aw,
it's a sad.
that is so sad.
It was a sad. It was sad. But this island has hundreds of terrifying looking dolls, and the interesting part is that you can actually, there's actually fairies that go to this island. Like this
Like
is it.
Tinkerbell? Oh no,
No,
like boat fairy.
yeah, both
I was
fairy.
like,
No, no Tinkerbell there, lost girl.
okay.
But
Sorry, you see where my
yeah,
brain's going.
yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
no,
all
no, no, no.
right.
So it's sad because there's a website called Isla de las Muñecas.com. So according to the website, the Islands of the Dolls legend, it is said that a girl was found drowned in mysterious circumstances many years ago on this island, and that the dolls are possessed by her spirits. Local legend says that the doll moved their heads and arms and even opened their eyes. Some witnesses claimed they had heard the dolls whispering to each other, while others who were on a boat near the island said the dolls lured them to come down to the island. So you can only imagine, some people go when they're on those ferry boats, they hear like those little sounds, like it sounds like birds or whatever.
Like
But
sirens.
people say that they're like the dolls
Spooky.
saying, it sounds like the dolls saying "mama,
Well, you know,
mama."
like some dolls do
So
say that, like especially from like back in the
yeah,
day. You know,
back
those
in the
creepy dolls
days,
with those
yeah,
eyes that would be like, and they were like,
yeah, yeah. Some of them had like one lazy eye and the other eye,
creepy
you
doll.
know, it's like I don't know. I
Oh
remember,
my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
that is so creepy.
Um,
So like, is this island haunted? Or, like, is it just like this ghost of this poor drowned girl?
I'm not gonna say that the island is haunted, but
It's creepy as fuck.
yeah, but when you think about the unknown and the mysterious, I think when how can I word this? So when you give something enough attention and love, enough like power, it'll eventually become reality.
Right, because they're
So
like it sounds like people were like giving them like almost like you know how like you would give
there's a shrine
like
there.
okay, because like Mexican culture or Catholic culture, you would make offerings, right?
Christian culture.
Culture,
Yeah, yeah.
So like it sounds like they were offering like giving him offerings of dolls and stuff to like decorate this
Well,
island.
yes. So what happened while he was alive? So while he was there, he farmed. He used to farm on the land, and what he did for bartering, he will barter with the people that will come to the land, to the island. I mean, not the land. I'm sorry, the people that will come to the island, and for their, for them to come in and see what he's done. Um, he would trade with them. Like people will bring him dolls
Instead of money.
and instead of money, and sometimes they'll, for a small fee, small minor fee, but people will give him doll and he will provide them food. Like he'll give them like whatever he farmed or
Right.
whatever he planted, he will trade with them.
For a doll.
But then for yeah, whatever dolls they gave him. But it became so. I think it became more of an obsession with the guy,
Yeah, clearly.
that he's got like all these, like the images that I've seen online, and I mean, it's insane. I mean, we'll post some
We'll
of it
post
on
them
our
on our
website
Instagram.
and we'll link it. Yeah, so there's some dolls that are like about 4 or 5 feet tall, and you're like, holy smokes. So, but there's also a shrine for the gentleman that founded this island. They consider him a hermit. So when he left
Yeah.
his family, he became this hermit who took over this part of the
Did
land.
he own the island? Like he just
No,
like
he just came in
what
and
year was this?
Veni
Like was this like
Vici.
the 50s or like
No, this was like in the 19 in I mean in the 20th century. I mean, you're talking about in the 1990s or something like that. Like
oh wow,
not the
so like
90s, but like
recently.
it was no, not recently.
I mean the
So
90s or recently.
I get what you're saying, but this guy, he died. I mean, he died in 2001. So if you think about it, the guy was there for a pretty long time. He was there for a pretty long time, but it was just strange.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so
So do people still go and leave dolls, or are they all
all
just
the
like,
time, all the
oh my god? So
time.
it's
There,
become like a
people,
thing.
yeah. There's an actual mantle. I mean, there's a shrine dedicated to him, and down right below him, there's a shrine with a doll dedicated to the little girl.
And we don't know her name.
And no, but there's like this little girl, and this doll has like these all these uh, decoration on her and things like that on her head and
Creepy.
things like that. But then they have there's a bowl at the bottom where people put in the coins, like the little things, and then you can also see like little Catholic Christian cards that
Mhm.
people leave.
The
So
saint
like
cards.
the saint cards, like praying cards. So you see the praying cards on this bowl where this shrine is at. But uh, and it's still, I mean, it's open to the public, but it's just interesting that this place has become a tourist attraction, and this is like, um, I think by accident. It wasn't meant to be like I said, it wasn't meant to be anything of that sort. Um, but in reference to like who made the Islands of Dolls, so it was like I said earlier, it was Don Julio Santana Barrera
So he thought. So
was the
okay.
caretaker of the
So
island.
he thought like all of the dolls were possessed by spirits of dead girls.
No, of just this little girl. But the problem is this. Um, like I said earlier, I feel that some sort of supernatural element becomes attracted to a place like
Yeah, and all
that.
that like.
So I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. When you start, I can only imagine how creepy that damn place must be.
I know it
How
must be
must
spooky
look at night.
because
But
like a Ouija board is just a board and a thing, but when you
no, it's
give it
not just the board
power,
and the thing. The Ouija board, you give it.
you
Ouija
give it
board is
power.
creepy.
Yeah, you give
Yeah.
it power. That's really crazy.
Yeah, but this guy,
So
I mean, he was a caretaker of the island. And the story, like I said earlier, goes that he found this little girl drowned, and he was not able to save her life. So I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say that the member was the guy that was the guy was lying, because like I said earlier, there was no, and so far everything that I've read and looked into, no one has found this little girl's body. So there's no body.
so
It's just this guy. It's just Mr. Don Barrera, Santana Barrera, saying that he found a little girl's body on the canal, and that right after her body was
a floating doll.
there was this floating doll that followed, and that was the first doll that was brought and introduced to the island,
Hmm.
and that first doll transfer, like the spirit of the body of the little girl. And then I think about it, I'm like, this is some creepy shit, because you think of Chucky when he was
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is like a
when you
nightmare, like a
Chuck
horror
when you see
movie
the movie Chucky,
waiting to happen.
for some of us who are, in our 40s, you look at Chucky, that one
So
freaking
creepy.
guy who did that voodoo spell, and he got into this Chucky doll. That's how he got into this damn doll,
Right. Like that's what I'm saying. Like like
So
maybe that's what I was. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like maybe
I'm
like
like,
some evil spirit. Maybe not even an evil spirit. Maybe just
I'm
a
not gonna say it's
spirit.
a neighbor spirit. I'm
Maybe
just gonna
just a
say
spirit. Because I feel like he didn't. I feel like he did this from like a good place. Like he wanted to
yeah,
like maybe he found this doll floating and he
yeah.
saw like a spirit or something.
And he couldn't tell. Like he couldn't
Yeah.
really say. He couldn't really technically say this doll belonged to the little girl.
No, and like when you
Because
believe in
later
superstitions,
on,
like when you believe in
yeah,
superstitions, like that's ingrained in you, right?
yeah. I
Like you
mean,
believe
shit.
it.
I believe. I have my own personal
No, that's what
superstition.
I'm saying. So
Yeah,
like he probably was like legit, like, oh, I need to like offer her, like honor her, like this little
and
girl.
that was the
So
whole
it sounded
thing,
like it
right?
started with something
So
beautiful that has become like
exactly.
super creepy.
So for him, when he saw the doll, he thought it was the little girl. So he picked her up, and it's
God.
so sad. And he hung it up in respect of the little girl, saying, "Hey, you know what? In respect of her, this is gonna be her." So he became the caretaker, and he said, "You know what? I have to." So he devoted the rest of his life to the
So
per-
instead of his actual
to
family,
well, I don't find it funny. I
I
find it
find it
kind of
like kind of fucked up, but
I
like
find it kind of
like
sad
sad. Yeah.
because the family kind of like was wondering and like what's going on, like
Yeah, like
do
can you
like
imagine like
how
abandonment issues like for his
wasn't
kids?
even
Like you
that.
went to go take care of dolls and you didn't even take care of me, like your actual child. Like
Well, I don't even see it that way. The
I
way I
do.
see no, the way I see it is like he was at this island. First of all, why were you at this island?
I know. Like,
And then out of nowhere, a dead kid pops up, and then a doll pops up, and then your entire life changes, and it's like,
man,
and then you leave your family,
so creepy.
like
Like well, like
how's that?
like okay, so like he see he was at this island and then he found this dead doll,
Well,
dead girl, and then he
he's from that
decided to leave
so
his family
he
or
was from that area. He's from that
yeah.
area. He's from that area there from um Xochimilco. So he's from that area. So he
Wow.
could have, it could be like, how when you go out and you see signs and things like
Yeah.
that, you end up becoming committed to that location and you build a shrine. You
Mhm.
build a shrine to, you know, I would say like the Virgin Mary or whatever it is,
Right.
right? But I feel like this gentleman, he something happened, something really happened and changed his entire life.
And we
That
just
he got
don't.
to the point that he was like, you know what, I am not leaving. I'm staying here, and this is, he had that revelation of like, this is where I'm supposed to be. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm like, as I'm researching this more and more, and as I'm looking more into this, like I cannot find anything about this. I mean, on this, I find different things like through what the Discovery Channel reported, and that's why I'm like, I feel like I need to go. I mean, I'm not saying I need to go really, but if I ever do find myself going to Mexico City, this might be a place that I wouldn't mind visiting, just to because
No, I would totally
I
go
am
here just because
curious. I am curious about
so
this place,
creepy.
and I'm curious about the story behind this, because
I'm gonna bring one of the dolls from.
it's so no, I'm good.
I'm gonna bring
It's
a doll.
it's all creep. I mean, it's creepy as it is, right? But it says that so when he picked up the doll and he hung it on the tree, he didn't respect of the little girl's spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a lot of them say reports conclude that Julian has made up the story about the girl in his solitude.
Well, it's kind of
So
like yeah, like
it sounds like after a while, like when you go sometimes,
what was that movie with Tom Hanks where he had the volleyball and he started talking to?
yeah,
So maybe it was like a
yeah,
thing like that, like to
yeah,
keep him
yeah.
calm.
Wilson, him and
Wilson,
Wilson, yeah.
right?
And then when Wilson fell into the river, Wilson, like he
No,
was
like
freaking out.
like
Yeah,
humans want to be
yeah.
your
Castaway. That's the movie.
yeah
Castaway.
castaway. Like so
So
human by nature, like we're social creatures, even if
we
we're like
are.
hermits.
We lose. We tend to create friends.
Yeah, like
I would say
maybe he couldn't
not
maybe
friends, but we start creating our
pobrecito
own.
pobrecito
Yeah.
maybe he couldn't like live in the world with among people, so he created this world with like this
Well,
like
I mean, it's kind of fucked up that you create a world with a little
fairy
dead
tale
girl. I
not a
mean,
dead girl, but like this fairy tale world of like because like to people like dolls are happy things, they're not usually creepy except in horror movies, right? Or like
look.
I
Let me
know,
explain
I know.
something to you.
But like
When we're
generally
talking
speaking,
about no, this is not
because I used
no.
to collect porcelain dolls,
No.
and when I was little, and I
Yeah,
loved those damn
that's
dolls.
creepy as shit. So when no, I find I respect what he did, which is honorable. But when I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about this,
I'm looking at it on the website. It's
I'm a
creepy.
little concerned because I feel like this gentleman, I think he might have lost it. I think he might have lost it. He found himself, in solitude,
Yeah.
and maybe he had a few screw loose as he got older, and and he
Oh
left.
my God. Look,
And
local legend says the dolls move their heads and arms and even
yes,
open their eyes.
yes, I told you. That's what I
That's
said earlier.
creepy, babe.
Yeah, that they're possessed.
They're possessed.
Allegedly, they're possessed,
Oh my God.
and
That's
you
giving me
hear,
like
yeah,
goosebumps.
and you hear a lot of the tourists that show up that they hear things like they hear the dolls calling them into the
Okay, is that
forest
like
and things.
sometimes that's like um what is it when
It's
you
your brain,
suggestion?
man.
It's like the
No,
suggestion, like, oh,
mm-mm.
this happened, so your brain
Let me
sees
tell you,
things.
the human brain is an
Like
amazing
it's a
tool.
there's a
Is an
word for it, and
amazing.
I can't think of it now.
The human brain is amazing. It will make you think that there's something when there's nothing.
Right.
So you can be in a room, closed, four padded room, and while you're in that room, after I'm not sure what the amount of time is, but after a while, you start seeing things and you start thinking that you've spoken with people that have come in. So you tend to lose it, especially when you don't know the time, the date, and what's going on. So when you're in this padded room, okay, you're thinking that you've spoken to people, but the whole time, no one has spoken to you. No one has walked into that room, and the whole time, the only conversation you've been having is with your thoughts
Yeah,
and with
like
your brain,
he was
and you've
totally
created this character. You've created this character in your head, okay, and in the whole time you've been inside this padded room, so it can get kind of disturbing. Think about it this way: this guy had an entire island, an entire fucking
okay.
island.
So this
So
island that you step on, because I'm looking at the website, one of these websites, and it says it's a floating garden.
it is now. It's
So it's
just
not even like it's like
no.
swamp. Like it's not even
It's
like
like a marsh, almost
sand.
like so. It's kind of like when you look at it,
Like you could
it's
like
yeah.
grass and stuff that you
It's
can
like some
like a
something out of the Everglades. Like
yeah,
you have
exactly.
like a small little like right here. You have one small piece. You can live here, solid
Creepy.
ground. Yeah,
All you
but
need are
there.
gators.
Well, I won't be surprised. Well,
But they
they
have
do have
gators
them.
in
It's called
Mexico?
well, not gators, but I
The
think they're called
caimans.
caiman.
Yeah.
So they do have anything that yeah.
Creepy. I don't know if they
They
have
have
gators. Maybe they have
spiders.
them
They
in
have tons of spiders and snakes because you hear the
for
people.
sure, for
So when
sure.
they went into the hut where the member used to live, which is a museum now, it's like a little museum.
Uh-huh.
And when you look at this museum, it's not like your standard concrete floor slab. No, this is a
It's a hut.
platted. It's a
Like a
shed.
hut,
It's like a
yeah.
little hut, and it's dedicated to him, which to me is amazing. The man. Again, I don't know much about what happened.
Pobrecito. I feel bad
I
for
feel
him.
bad, but I
Yeah.
find it kind of disturbing that this little girl's body was never found.
Right. Because if it's not an, because I was like, oh, maybe he found her and he buried her. But if it's not an actual
Where is the
land,
plot?
right?
Where
Exactly.
is the
But if it's
plot of
not,
this
if
little
it's just
girl?
marsh and it's just grass that like you can walk
Well,
on or
no, no,
something,
there's land. There's dirt and stuff. But what I'm saying is,
I don't know.
this
It's creepy.
ground, this is some solid ground. Like you would have thought that he burn there? Because
Who the hell knows?
you got to remember some of these religious practices back then were different, right?
Yeah, but
So
you know
if
how
it
hot
was
a fire,
Aztec, Inca,
how
or
hot a fire has to get to burn a body. It's got to get super hot.
not
Yeah,
hot
like
at
to
all.
burn all the bones to make nothing left.
No,
Yeah,
though
babe,
you can
Google it.
you can turn that in. They get turn into ashes pretty quick. Have you seen those fire pits that the way they used to burn the Vikings,
Right,
the way
but
they
it
used to
has to get
burn
super
the
hot. Is what I'm
Romans?
saying.
Yeah, but he's in a marsh by himself. I mean, he's in this island by himself. It doesn't take that much dry twigs and branches and
Like,
stuff.
yeah, okay, maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
and allegedly it's a little girl,
So it's not.
not that much bone structure, and
Yeah.
I mean, so I find it kind of
That's so
scary.
creepy.
Yeah, I find
Oh,
it
do you think? Oh my
creepy.
god,
Yeah,
creepy.
I just find it kind of sad. Again, like I said, because he had a shrine for
He just
her.
wanted to honor the dead. Like he
He
wanted to
did. He
remember
wanted to honor
her.
this little girl, but for me, I still find
It's
it
like an
kind of.
unsolved mystery. Like
Oh yeah.
unsolved, right?
Oh yeah.
Whether or
To
not she
me,
existed. No one claimed.
yeah.
No one claimed a missing girl in that area.
I don't think so. Based off everything that I read,
Right.
no one said about a
So
missing
maybe it
little
was just his
girl.
let's hope it's an
Everyone,
imagination and not some little like
everyone in the
baby that died.
no, everyone in there like they were like, oh no, that we cannot. They feel that this whole time, Don Julian Barrera, it was in his head.
Right. Yeah.
The entire time he did this in his mind. Okay, so what do the dolls hanging from the trees represent?
Creepy shit.
True. Yes, true. Um, so Julian was apparently hunted by the spirit of the girl and started hanging more dolls in an attempt to please her spirit. Okay, I mean, right off the bat, I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, attempting to
Like I can see like
like,
when you think about like Mexican culture and how like como like the Dia de los Muertos and stuff like that, that's very like ingrained in them. It's a beautiful thing,
well,
right?
here for the yeah, but
But then
that's
I'm like,
the Dia de los
was he
Muertos, el
being
Dia de los
tormented?
Muertos. Well, that's the thing that they don't.
Like were these like if this
A
wasn't
lot of
just
the
in his
research and
mind,
the stuff is they don't really get too much into that, right?
right? We could have.
Remember, he never said that he was being tormented by by these creatures. I mean, by these
No, I'm like I'm looking at
things,
pictures of him
right?
and he seemed. I mean, they all look like he's smiling, like he's like
Yeah, so a lot of the
happy,
yeah,
happy.
like some of the pictures that I've seen, he's smiling and he's grinning and he's very like friendly and you know like I mean for 50 years this guy was doing this.
Yeah,
So
his whole
so
life, his whole life.
yeah, pretty much the
I
entire
don't know how old he
that
was when he
I
died, but
mean the entire the pretty much towards the end of his life he did this. So he soon realized the dolls themselves were possessed. Well, listen to that.
yeah.
So he soon realized the dolls themselves were possessed by the spirit of dead girls.
So like
Not the little girl, dead
dead girls,
girls.
plural. So my
And continued to collect creepy dolls, hanging them over the entire
like
island.
he was possessed himself. Like maybe not like in the literal sense. Like it could have just been madness, you know. But like I'm sorry, like if you're like freaking out because these dolls I hang more and more are being like possessed with dead souls, or it could be like literally like he was like he had to do this,
Okay.
like
Now, and then a lot of the stuff, like people that were close to him, said that he was driven by some sort of unforeseen force that completely changed him. Meaning, I mean,
it could be
shit.
madness.
If you
It
think,
could
yeah,
literally be
yeah, you think
mental. It
about it,
could be
like,
mental illness, or it could be like a
yeah,
freaking
I believe it was it was mental illness. At the same time, he became obsessed with this. After I mean, you think like I said, like we were saying earlier, after a while, you develop a relationship with this thing, and then you kind of become close
yeah. I don't
to
know,
it, and then you become one with this
right. Like
entity.
I mean, okay, like
Entities, not
our
entity,
logical,
entities.
yeah, like
Because remember, he said they said girl or
girls, and
girls,
it's
you
only
know,
girls, which is
not
like
singular, plural,
very
meaning that
like misogynistic, but whatever. So like,
no, oh, come
okay,
on,
no,
really, seriously,
no, it is like hello, only
no.
girls can possess dolls because
They're not
girls.
talking about only girls. They're talking about like little girls for being murdered.
No, that one girl was found dead. We don't know if she
Okay,
was
just that
murdered or
one
she just
girl. But
drowned.
according to,
That's us like
no, I'm over here. Of course, I'm over here
but like okay, my thing
allegedly saying that. But when they're saying,
my thoughts are that okay, so on the one hand like our logical brains want to give this like a logical reason like it was mental illness, right? Because then it's all really easily explainable. But then on the other hand, like if there is like a supernatural thing where like these dolls could have been possessed, it could have been evil spirits, it could have been just spirits of like ghosts or whatever, like depends on whatever you believe, like freaking spooky. It's either way it's sad, either way it's creepy, and like
well, I don't know. I mean, I would say according to the uh, reading the article, they said that he became like this because he was not able to save her. So he didn't go there with well, let me backtrack here. When he was there and he found the little girl, he was not able to save her, like revive her after he found her. So this kind of tormented him and changed him.
but there was never a body.
There has never been a body.
Yeah.
There has never been a body. Just Don
So I
Julio.
wonder if that's something like maybe he had guilt over from like his earlier year. Like it could be anything. Like
Again, I don't know. And then when I think about that, now it's funny that you bring that up, and I'll talk about that a little bit more, right? So after 50 years of collecting dolls and hanging them on the island, Julian was found dead, drowned in the same spot where the little girl
because like
died.
he was from this area,
Where,
right?
where
Like
he found
he lived here
he was
his
from
whole
that
life.
area.
So maybe like
Hmm.
back in his child, I don't know. Like I don't know.
Listen, this is what I'm thinking, right? So I'm thinking again. I'm thinking that I'm not accusing the man of
And of
anything,
course not, because this is all
but but
supposition.
it's scary to think that your entire life you go to this island, isolated from population, from people. The only way you can get to that island is by ferry, by a boat. So you were part of this island here, and people will come in, and of course it was like some folks live nearby and things like that, and
Right.
they ferry back and forth. But I'm like, these individuals were so close knit, right? That it was a close knit community that when you think about it, they're all linked together and they kind of know each other. And Mr. Don Julian, he was very well known, very happy person, always smiling. Like you see the pictures, he's smiling. He did do a lot of like bartering, kind of like trading with the people when they will come to the. It's funny because they say his island.
His island, right?
They call it his island. So it's kind of like he had this piece of real estate that somehow he just became owner of or procured. I mean, he did not inherit this thing. He just moved to this place and just stayed there and just became, built this sanctuary for himself, right? So,
Like I'm just looking at like the like tags of Isla de las Muñecas on Instagram,
mhm,
and like this
it's
shit is
scary.
creepy.
Yeah, it's
You know, like
scary.
um, just from tourists and stuff visiting
Yeah.
and stuff. Like it's
It's a
really.
popular destination. I mean,
I can see
it's a
why.
popular
Hello,
destination.
like we're all associated with dolls for the most part, no matter
Yeah.
where you are, right? And then
Yeah.
like this is like the most fun, cute thing from your childhood turned
There's
absolutely.
nothing cute about creepy porcelain dolls.
Yes, they are. They're not creepy.
I don't
They're
know.
really pretty. These
Listen,
aren't porcelain though. These are
when
like.
that doll in the middle of the night says "Mama" because the battery's dying or something on
Oh my
it,
god, that's the
you're in
worst.
the middle.
You know, like when
Yeah.
the kids are little
Mm-mm.
and like those toys or whatever,
Yeah.
they start like all of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
turn on, and you're like,
Automatic. You're like, what? What was that?
it's
Yeah.
so
No.
scary.
No. I'm sorry, but when that thing says "Mama" in the middle of the night, and you're like, what was that?
What was that? You were
and
hiding from your
and
parents.
the reason why is because the batteries are dying on the doll. But that's what
But
you
are they
tell.
really?
That's what you're telling
Are
yourself,
they
right?
really?
Are they really? Or this little doll just decided to walk
And
across
they're
the
like,
hallway
and they're like a,
and they're looking for you,
like a
and they
butcher
think
knife
that,
from the
and they
kitchen.
yeah, and they think you're their mama. First thing comes to my mind is like Pet Cemetery, Stephen King getting attacked by this creepy Chucky doll.
No, but
You
like,
know,
is it? Because like even the EVP, what is it? Like like the spirits, if you believe in that kind of thing, can influence all these things, right?
listen. The other thing is this.
Creepy.
So many people on the island believe that Julian has joined the other spirits of the island.
Of course he
So
has.
it's
Why
like
not?
it's like you cannot. I mean, you cannot make this worse. Like, I mean, if you think about
Instead of
it,
letting the man rest in peace,
they
he's
don't
now
even let the
haunting
man.
the
Now they're
island.
like, oh, now he's hunting the island.
Pobrecito. I hope
So
he's in heaven with the last girl.
yeah, my hope, and I pray that he's found peace and that mainly what he was dealing with was like we said earlier, what was some sort of mental illness, and he was able to find peace and solace and that his family is able to,
I mean, just think
but
what's a prescription could have prevented all of this, maybe.
well,
Maybe not.
I'm not gonna say I
Maybe
don't know
not,
that.
right?
I don't know what the I don't he. I mean, there's no diagnosis of what was
No,
wrong with
there's
him.
nothing.
So,
Why would there be? Like,
uh,
what doctor was gonna
but the interesting part, you want to hear something crazy though, right?
Absolutely.
So the locals are very faithful that the island de la Muñecas is a charm place.
It's
After
charmed.
Julian's death in 2001, it has become a tourist attraction where visitors bring more dolls. So think about this. So
So, like, in a
so
way,
so here so listen to this creepy part. This is when the supernatural part kicks in my thing, right? As I'm reading more into this and I'm researching and I'm over analyzing, thinking about this, and then the sentence that they talk about the spirit of the girls, like more girls in the island. I just think about, like, as people are providing dolls, I'm like, these dolls belong to other people.
Right.
So if they were if they were close to it and
All that
attracted to it,
energy.
all that energy was. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now.
Yeah.
But all this energy that was given to the doll, the love and the care that those kids
Mm-hmm.
you know,
I'm just thinking of
provided,
my Cabbage Patch
and
dolls
they
more
and
now.
they passed
That's okay.
away to these things. Now all this energy
It's
is in this
positive though,
island.
for the most part.
Is it really?
Yeah, like when you think of little girls or boy, whatever, like playing with dolls, like it's nice. It's cariño and it's amor and it's nice. I'm sorry, but you know what I was just thinking too, like I'm always trying to see the positive things. Like if this is bringing tourists, maybe I don't know what area of Mexico this is, but like I'm imagining it's
Hmm.
probably not like the
It's in
most.
the southern part of it's like 17 miles away from Mexico City. So I mean, it's its own little separate
So
touristic
it's
attraction
bringing
kind
it's
of.
bringing some kind of
Yeah.
enrichment via tourist dollars to the area,
I
maybe.
mean, I would say yes,
Hopefully, I have no
but
idea. I haven't googled
I
it
mean,
yet.
I'm gonna say yes, it is. But when you think about it, this place was not a tourist attraction.
No,
That's
that's
the
what I'm
creepy
saying.
part
Like now
about it,
people are like, oh, I want to go check this out because
And
of the internet,
shoot,
right?
I'm one of the
Or
ones over
TV.
here talking about.
Oh yeah,
I need
like
to go and get a
can we
pamphlet,
book some
and
tickets to Mexico City?
well, let's pump the brakes there for a minute. Pump the brakes, okay?
Okay.
But because I'm not trying to go to a creepy island with creepy dolls, and then it's our little one talk about, hey dad, can I have the doll?
No.
And next thing you know, we had dolls that around the house going, mama, mama. No, I'm good. No, I'm
That's so
good.
creepy. Wow. Okay. Well, what's his name? Julian Barrera.
Yeah. So one
Me.
of the lines that from this website that I found kind of scary is, although the action of Don Julian was innocent and even admirable, it ended up being portrayed as a real nightmarish destination. Like you said, well, yeah, an island of the dolls, that's not my place to be.
No.
Yeah, that's not my place to be. So when you're looking at, they're talking about like soulless eyes, follow visitors as they visit the small island.
Soulless eyes. Yeah.
Soulless eyes, think about that, which is actually a floating garden. So you show up at this island, and you're like, you're looking around, and these, you don't, you don't really know what you're seeing, right? So, you're seeing all these dolls that Mother Nature and has taken over,
No,
right?
we don't need
And
to
I
visit.
think,
We just need to
and I
look on
think,
Instagram.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Go to Instagram, and I think about this, right? So you know how Mother Nature kind of takes over after a while.
Yeah.
So like you can wipe out a full blown place, right? Like New York City, like you hear people talk about, oh, New York City, all these buildings and all this thing. But if we have a natural disaster, a catastrophe, Mother Nature is gonna take over and it's going to absorb, and you're gonna have trees and plants and weeds. And when I think about it, I'm like, if no one is actually watching these islands, is not taking care of this island, the Mother Nature is gonna take over. So you're gonna have dolls like growing within the trees, like they're gonna be embedded in the
Oh my god,
trees
yeah, like
and in the
in the
branches.
yeah.
So they're gonna look like it's gonna look like they have like
Like
heads.
those Grimm's fairy
Yeah,
tales with the trees that have
exactly.
like, oh my god,
Yeah,
that's so
so it'll look
creepy.
kind of creepy. Like some of these trees might have like little arms sticking out of them
In
or
like a
little
hundred
legs.
years from now.
100 years from now.
Yeah, for
So if
sure.
somebody goes there like 150
Can you
years or
imagine
so,
how it's gonna change in 150 years?
yeah, so 100 years from now,
Now
maybe
it's gonna
50
be
years from
like
now. So you're gonna have this place that's gonna be, if no one, of course, again, if no one is cutting the weeds and stuff.
no, but
But
not
this
even
thing is
because
just
the
gonna be
trees.
like,
I
holy
mean, trees
cow.
fall and well, I guess we'll see. But
Yeah, I'm not
that was
worried about
that
trees
was
falling or whatever.
like
But
I don't know. Like
well,
that's an interesting
this is
story.
this to me was kind of interesting. I was trying to picture like something supernatural, but at the same time something that's like people have seen and touched and looked
Yeah.
at. And I think to me, an island of creepy dolls it's in my not bucket list of places to visit, but I
No.
am interested
This
in
is creepy.
in
Creepy.
seeing what it looks like. But it's like when you look at the videos and the pictures, like this ferry, it's like a ferry boat on this
And they're all
green
happy and
canal.
colorful looking
Yeah,
fairies.
these fairy boats are like
Like,
red and orange and
yeah.
yellow, so they're like very colorful, right? And these are all canals going back to like Aztec and time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it like super creepy, super creepy. Um, so like right now, I mean, just a trip around, it's not that much. It's very inexpensive to go. If someone ever goes to Mexico City,
If you've okay, or if you've gone,
or if you've
tell us about
gone,
it.
please tell us about it. I will be intrigued to know what you felt. I know we would love to go once, but
Only once. You don't need to go there twice.
only once, only once, only once. Yes, all it's gonna take is once because I can tell you, you go there once, you get. Yeah, I'm good. I don't even know. I don't even have words to describe um, how scary it would be.
Creepy.
Yeah. That's all I have for the muñecas, la Isla de las Muñecas. No, muñecas in Spanish it means doll, but let me
It's
tell
also
you,
a
it means
term
like
of
in
endearment.
terms of
Yeah.
endearment. But this thing is no.
No.
Yeah, this thing takes away from the term of endearment. When you're like Isla de Muñecas, and you start seeing these little creepy
Like,
dolls, and you start learning about the background. I mean, you start learning about the stories. Yeah.
I wonder how big the island is.
I'm not sure.
Not
It
sure.
doesn't really say too much.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thanks, babe. That was a good story.
Thank you.
Not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all. Now when I go to bed, I'm gonna hear the little mama,
Mama.
mama. Lena's dolls going off in the background somewhere in her room. So
Okay.
well,
Well, I guess until next time, stay golden.
bye.